A woman is dead, another behind bars after shooting Chicago's South Loop this morning.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli joins us live with more on this shooting near a school. Courtney.
She's the one who shot her. Order, but she shot her. The gun in the car. Oh my fucking God! The baby in the car. How you feel? She's a doctor. Get up. You scared as hell, right? Scared as hell. She's scared, buddy. No, it wasn't. You had it by the car. You were trying to stop her in the car. You're trying to hit the car, bro. What are you talking about? You had her in a headlock. And you shot her, Cody. I was there.
On the morning of September 8th, 2025, Romika Meeks wrote her son a note. Just a simple message tucked into his lunchbox. The kind mothers write every day. Have a great day at school. I love you. She had no way of knowing those would be the last words she'd ever write to him. Have you ever dropped someone you love off at school, thinking you'd see them again that evening? That familiar routine. The kiss goodbye. The wave from the car window, the promise to be there when the school bell rings? For 31-year-old Romika, Monday morning started exactly like that. She was building something, working toward her nursing degree while raising her son. Friends called her the purest soul in their circle, the one who always showed up, the one who never missed a chance to be there for the people she loved. But at 9:05 a.m., outside an elementary school in Chicago's South Loop, that routine morning would explode into violence that no one saw coming. This is the story of how a simple school drop-off became a deadly confrontation. How two women, one man, and a custody arrangement created the perfect storm. How 4 gunshots would leave a child without his mother. And how the woman who pulled the trigger claims she had no choice. If this story hits close to home, if you've ever worried about someone you love walking into danger, hit that like button. Because today we're examining a case that shows how quickly protection can become predation, how restraining orders can become weapons themselves, and how the system designed to keep families safe can fail in the most tragic way possible. The question that haunts this case isn't just who pulled the trigger. We know that. It's why. Because Romika Meeks had no idea that dropping her son off for school would put her directly in the path of Holly Johnson, the woman who claimed she fired 4 bullets in self-defense. But was it really self-defense? Or had Holly Johnson been planning this moment for months? Welcome to True Crime Footprint, where we unveil the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime tales. Kindly hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our new stories. Your support keeps these stories alive. To understand what happened that Monday morning, we need to go back to when Romika Meeks was just trying to build a life for herself and her son. She was grinding through nursing school, working toward a career that would let her help people heal. Her friends remember her as someone who lit up every room she entered, the kind of person who remembered your birthday, who showed up when you needed her most. But Romika's life was complicated by one man, Carlos Lozo's way. Carlos wasn't just any ex. He was the father of Romika's child. And here's where things get messy. He was also the father of Holly Johnson's child. 2 women, 1 man. 2 children caught in the middle of an arrangement that was about to turn deadly. Now, Holly Johnson had been telling people she had a restraining order against Romika. Think about that for a moment. In her version of events, Romika was the threat. Romika was the one to fear. But court records would later reveal something different entirely. The truth? Romika had been the one seeking protection from Holly. If you're watching this and you're dealing with shared custody situations where restraining orders are involved, listen carefully. Always ensure drop-offs happen in public places with witnesses, or better yet, through supervised visitation centers. The parking lot of a school might seem safe, but as we'll see, public doesn't always mean protected. Carlos had a pattern. He'd bounce between these 2 women, keeping both of them hoping, both of them competing. Friends of Romika say she was trying to move on, trying to focus on her studies and her son. But when you share a child with someone, moving on isn't that simple. Monday morning, September 8th, started like any other for Romika. She got her son ready for school, packed that lunchbox with the note that would haunt investigators later. She drove through Chicago traffic, probably thinking about her upcoming nursing exam, maybe planning what to make for dinner. She had no idea that Holly Johnson was also headed to the same area. She had no idea that Carlos would be there too. 3 people, converging on 2200 South State Street, each carrying their own version of the truth. Before we go any further into what happened next, take a moment to subscribe if you want more deep dives into cases that expose how quickly family disputes can turn fatal. Because what you're about to hear will make you question everything you think you know about self-defense. At 9:05 a.m., Romika Meeks had just finished the most ordinary task in the world, dropping her child off at school. In 60 seconds, that ordinary morning would become a crime scene that would leave Chicago police officers shaking their heads. Because what started as a chance encounter was about to explode into violence that would destroy 3 families forever. The question isn't whether Holly Johnson killed Romika Meeks. The question is whether she planned it all along. 9:05 a.m. 2200 South State Street. 3 lives about to collide in the most violent way possible. Romika had just watched her son disappear into the school building. She was probably thinking about getting home, maybe grabbing coffee before her next class. Normal thoughts on what should have been a normal Tuesday morning. But Carlos Lozo's way was already there, standing in that parking lot despite having an active restraining order that should have kept him away from Romika entirely. Think about that. He wasn't supposed to be anywhere near her, yet there he was. And Holly Johnson? She was pulling up just as Romika was getting ready to leave. What happened next depends entirely on who you believe. According to witnesses, the confrontation started with words. Heated words between 2 women who had been circling each other for months. Romika trying to get away, Holly Johnson advancing. Then it got physical. Witnesses say they saw Romika being put in a headlock. Picture that scene. A mother who had just kissed her child goodbye, now fighting for her life in a school parking lot. She was smaller than Holly Johnson. She was caught off guard. She was trying to defend herself against an attack she never saw coming. But Holly Johnson wasn't done. 4 shots rang out. 4 shots that would change everything. No, seriously, 4 shots that would destroy 3 families forever. The first shot missed. The second caught Romika in the body. The third went wide. But the fourth shot was fired at close range, directly into Romika's face. At close range, into her face. This wasn't a warning. This wasn't someone firing wildly in panic. This was execution-style precision from a woman who claimed she was defending herself. Paramedics arrived within minutes. They rushed Romika to Stroger Hospital, working frantically to save a life that was already slipping away. But the damage was too severe. The woman who had written her son a loving note just hours before was pronounced dead at 10:23 a.m. Carlos Lozo's way, the man both women had been fighting over, watched it all happen.
Yeah, Terrell and Tanya, still really heavy police presence here near Cermak and State. You could see that police have taped off a portion of the area. Right now, detectives are surrounding a white sedan that appears to be connected to this incident. Chicago police saying that early this morning, around 9:30, there was a fight between 2 women. That scene unfolding here near State and Cermak. One of the women allegedly pulled out a gun and shot the other woman in the face. The 31-year-old victim was taken to the hospital and later died. Now, the suspect has been taken into custody, and Chicago police say this is still a very ongoing investigation. So once again, this taking place here near Cermak in State, still very active.
I mean, what do you tell a kid when you just drop me off? How do you just say she's not here anymore? How do you explain it? It's not fair. The person doesn't come back. You need to understand that. They don't come back. Your life is taken too. So who really lose? Everybody lose. It's no win in a situation.
Kanisha works across the street and saw the aftermath of what happened. She doesn't know the victim, but is devastated for her family and friends and calls this preventable.
Violence is not the way to keep doing it. Nobody wins in a situation.
A family now looking for justice, as sources close to the investigation say detectives are speaking with witnesses and reviewing evidence to figure out exactly what happened.
It's so scary and sad. I don't even know, I feel real bad for the lady.
The father of both their children stood by as one killed the other. For bullets. For families destroyed. For children who would grow up knowing their parents' choices led to this moment. But here's what makes this case so complicated. As Romika Meeks lay dying on the pavement outside an elementary school, Holly Johnson was already talking to police. And the story she told would turn this entire case upside down. Because Holly Johnson looked those officers in the eye and said two words that would change everything. Self-defense. Self-defense. Two words that can transform a murder charge into a justified killing. Two words that Holly Johnson repeated to every officer who would listen as Romika Meeks bled out on that school parking lot. But here's the problem with Holly's story. It started falling apart the moment investigators began checking the facts. Remember that restraining order Holly claimed to have against Romika? The one that supposedly made Romika the aggressor, the threat, the dangerous one? Court records tell a different story entirely. Romika had been the one seeking protection. Romika had been documenting threats. Romika had been trying to get away from Holly Johnson for months. Now listen to what Romika's cousin told investigators. He was physically fighting my cousin when his girlfriend got out of the car and shot her. Not defending herself. Not responding to an attack. Getting out of her car to join a fight that Carlos had already started. Think about the logistics here. If Holly Johnson was truly defending herself, why did she have to get out of her vehicle? If Romika was the aggressor, why didn't Holly just drive away? Why approach a woman you claim to fear? The police took Holly into custody right there at the scene. Standard procedure for any shooting, regardless of the circumstances. But here's what's interesting. No charges were filed immediately. Not that day. Not that week. Area 3 detectives kept investigating, kept talking to witnesses, kept trying to make sense of Holly's version of events. When multiple parties are involved in abusive relationships, the truth gets complicated fast. If you're in a situation like this, document everything. Every text message. Every threat. Every incident. Take photos of injuries. Save voicemails. The legal system doesn't run on he said she said anymore. It runs on evidence. Because without documentation, cases like this become battles of who tells the most convincing story rather than who's telling the truth. But wait, did you catch what I mentioned earlier about the restraining order? Go back if you missed it, because this detail changes everything about Holly's self-defense claim. The woman she shot had been trying to get legal protection from her, not the other way around. As detectives continued gathering witness statements, reviewing security footage, and examining the physical evidence, one question began to dominate their investigation. Not whether Holly Johnson killed Romika Meeks. That was never in doubt. Not even whether she felt threatened. Fear doesn't justify execution. The question that haunts this case, the question that determines whether Holly Johnson walks free or spends her life in prison, is this. Did Holly Johnson drive to that school parking lot knowing exactly what she was going to do? Because if the answer is yes, then everything Holly Johnson told police that morning was a lie. Weeks passed after the shooting. Holly Johnson remained in custody, but the charges everyone expected never came. Why? In cases where someone is shot 4 times at close range, arrests usually lead to immediate murder charges. But prosecutors were holding back, and that hesitation tells us something important about how complicated this case really is. The missing pieces matter. What exactly happened in those final moments before Holly pulled the trigger? Was there a specific word, a gesture, a threat that made her snap? Or had she been planning this confrontation from the moment she found out Romika would be at that school? And what about Carlos Lozo's way? The man at the center of this entire tragedy. He watched 2 mothers of his children fight over him, and he did nothing to stop it. Was he just an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire? Or was he the catalyst who set this whole thing in motion by violating that restraining order and showing up where he shouldn't have been? Social media exploded with theories. People who never met any of these three started picking sides, creating narratives that had nothing to do with the facts. But real investigations don't happen on Facebook. They happen in interview rooms and forensics labs, where evidence matters more than opinions. While lawyers and investigators worked through the legal complexities, the human cost kept growing. Romika's son came home from school that day to find out his mother wasn't coming home. Ever. That lunchbox note, "Have a great day at school. I love you," became the last thing his mother would ever say to him. Two other children lost their mother too, because Holly Johnson's choices destroyed her own family along with Romika's. Extended families on both sides now carry the weight of senseless violence that could have been prevented.
Please, y'all. Please stop sharing them poses of my sister, please. Please stop sharing that post of my baby sister on that ground, please. Get y'all, please. For my mama and for me and my siblings' sake. Please, y'all. My sister is gone. Yes, she is. Please.
Let Jenny get out and cuss their ass out.
Please, I see y'all calling everything. I can't. I'm doing this to let y'all know I am very broken. Me and my family is broken. Please, y'all, please. Give us some time to respond, to talk to y'all, to anything. Please, y'all. My baby sister is gone. Please. The worst is pain ever. I just want y'all to understand. If y'all never understand in y'all life, I didn't know how I had to do. Anybody lost a sibling, y'all, I don't know. I didn't know this hurt like this. Please, y'all, stop sharing that video of my sister. Put up good pictures of her. Y'all gonna post her. Put up good pictures of her. Please don't post her on that ground dead, please, y'all. I swear to God, it's the worst day of my life. I ain't looking for no sympathy, but I'm asking y'all to please. Jealousy is a motherfucker. A nigga ain't shit. When a nigga think they can do you like that, you did wrong and you wanted to hurt somebody that you hurt. Nobody did anything to you. You hurt my sister and that girl. Please, I'm asking y'all, can y'all please just don't post that video of my baby sister laying in that ground. She is gone. Yes, she's gone, y'all. She's gone. She's gone. My mama is having a heart attack of my life and my siblings. Please, y'all. Please, her family is mourning. This is a real big loss, y'all. Please. I will respond to y'all later. I can't right now. I'm so broken and tore up. Please, y'all. I'm trying to hold everybody in one day, hold myself. Our kids, everything. Please, y'all, give us a time. Please. If I ever been strong in my life, y'all, I need every day. Pray for me, y'all. Please, just stop reporting, y'all. Report the page. Please, y'all. Please, just give us a little time. Oh, God, that's my baby. Everybody know that's my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby. My baby. It's my baby.
An entire community started looking over their shoulders, wondering if their own custody arrangements, their own relationship drama, their own family conflicts might explode into violence. Because if it could happen to Romika Meeks, a woman just trying to drop her kid off at school, it could happen to anyone. This brings us to a question only you can answer. Knowing what you know now about the restraining order lies, the close-range execution, the premeditated nature of Holly's actions, what do you think should happen to Holly Johnson? Should she spend life in prison for murder? Or do you believe there's any justification for what she did? Let me know in the comments below, because your perspective on cases like this shapes how our justice system responds to domestic violence. But here's what really haunts investigators about this case. This wasn't just about three people and their messy relationships. This case reveals something much darker about domestic violence in America. Something that could save lives if we're willing to face the truth. The South Loop shooting isn't an isolated incident. It's a window into a crisis that's been building across America for decades. When custody battles intersect with domestic violence, when restraining orders become pieces of paper instead of protection, when multiple families get tangled in toxic relationships, this is what can happen. Restraining orders failed both women in this case. Romika couldn't get the protection she needed. Holly claimed protection she may never have deserved. The system that's supposed to prevent exactly this kind of violence watched it happen in broad daylight, in front of an elementary school, while children were in class just yards away. Love triangles aren't romantic. They're powder kegs. When two people are fighting over the same person, especially when children are involved, the stakes become life and death. Carlos Lozo's way may not have pulled the trigger, but his choices created the conditions that made this tragedy inevitable. If you're watching this and you recognize your own situation, listen carefully. Domestic violence escalates. It doesn't get better on its own. It doesn't resolve itself when you move away or change your number. When multiple people are competing for the same person's attention, someone always gets desperate enough to cross lines that can never be uncrossed. Warning signs include threats against you or your children, following or surveillance, showing up at places they're not supposed to be, manipulating custody arrangements to maintain control, and using children as weapons in adult conflicts. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available for you to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you can't call, you can text START to 88788 or visit thehotline.org. Your life is worth more than any relationship. But for Romika Meeks, this information comes too late. That note she wrote to her son, "Have a great day at school. I love you," will be the last message he ever receives from his mother. He'll grow up knowing that the adults in his life couldn't protect her. He'll grow up carrying the weight of a tragedy that should never have happened. If this case opened your eyes to the realities of domestic violence, share this video with someone who needs to see it. Your share could save a life. Because somewhere right now, there's another Romika trying to navigate a dangerous situation. There's another child who could lose their parent to violence that was entirely preventable. The question we started with, was Holly Johnson defending herself or committing murder, may ultimately be decided by a jury. But the bigger question, the one that really matters, is whether we as a society will do better at protecting people like Romika Meeks before it's too late. Romika Meeks was 31 years old. She was building a future as a nurse. She was somebody's everything. Remember her name. Remember her story. And remember that the next time you hear about domestic violence, it's not just statistics on a screen. It's real people with real dreams whose lives got cut short by choices other people made. Justice for Romika means more than convicting Holly Johnson. It means building a world where mothers don't have to fear for their lives while dropping their children off at school. Until that world exists, we remember, we share, we protect each other, and we never forget that every victim of domestic violence was somebody's everything. Our hearts ache for Romika's family. Words feel inadequate, but please know you are held in deepest sympathy and prayers. May you find strength and comfort in the memories of Romika. Thank you for watching, for your attention, and for joining us on this journey of reflection. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay safe. See you on our next video.